What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another wildrift video. For today's video, I have for you guys a full beginner's guide for Nautilus. There's timestamps in the description if you guys just want to skip to the build section or the tips and tricks section of the video. But for those of you guys who are new here, I used to play professionally in Vainglory and I have now transitioned over to wildrift. And of course, I am a support main, so I had to make a beginner's guide for Nautilus. And look, for those of you guys who are not familiar with Nautilus in any way, he's an all-in, full-on CC champ that is just a pain in the butt to play against. So I'm going to give you guys an overview of the abilities. I'm going to give you guys some combos you can use in rank. Of course, some tips and tricks you guys might not know about. Like I'm going to be showing you guys how broken the hitbox on his hook is. And yeah, other than that, subscribe if you guys want more guides. And let's get into the abilities. All right, so first things first, let's go over his passive. So his passive is called Staggering Blow. And essentially what the passive is, every time you basic attack an enemy, it'll root him in place. So if we basic attack this dummy, rooted. If we basic attack this one, rooted. If we basic attack this one, rooted. And they are rooted for 1.5 seconds. Now, every time you basic attack an enemy, it won't root him. It has a 6-second cooldown. So if we basic attack this dummy, you guys can see there I can't root him again. And if you guys pay close attention here, you guys will see that after you basic attack them, there's a little animation that appears that goes around him. That lets you know when you're going to be able to root that enemy again. So if I basic attack here, you guys will notice I will not be able to root this dummy until that goes away. And now I can. And then it resets, and there's a little timer under every enemy you basic attack every time. Even the jungle monsters here, you guys can see it there. So that's his passive. And no, the passive does do a bit of damage as well. So if I hit this with the passive, total damage 124. So a normal basic attack would only do like a fraction of that. And I'll go over like the combos you guys should be aware of in a little bit. So his next ability is called Dredge Line. So it's basically, it's just a hook. It's just a freaking hook, but it doesn't work like Blitz's hook where it pulls him to you, or maybe like Thresh's hook where it just like pulls him a little. His hook is a little different because basically what it does is pull Nautilus and the enemy together, as you guys can see. But here's where it gets really cool. The hook can not only hit enemies, you can hit a wall, you can hit minions, you can hook terrain literally everywhere, any wall, and it will pull you to that wall. So if we hook this one over here, boom, pulls me to that wall. If we hit this, boom, pulls me straight to the arrow. Here's a little trick you guys might not know. If you're about to get stunned, like if you're about to get cut out, channel the hook and you'll go through the stun animation during the travel time of the hook, and look, possibly prevent a very bad situation from happening. And not only that, his hook hitbox is kind of broken, and that's something I'm going to go over a little more here as we go along in the video. But to not delay here, let's get into the next ability, which is called Titan's Wrath. So you gain a shield that absorbs damage for 6 seconds. And while the shield is up, Nautilus attacks are empowered. And keep in mind, the more health you have, the better the shield. So let me show you here. If I press the shield, boom, there it is. So you guys can see there I have a shield. So as long as the shield is up, you also do empowered damage, and you guys can see it there. Boom, which is pretty awesome. But here's something really neat that you guys might not know, and this probably goes under the tips and tricks section, but it doesn't matter. So if you basic attack, you guys might notice his basic attack animation is a bit slow. So if we basic attack and then press the shield, it resets the basic attack animation. So keep that in mind when using your shield. You can reset your basic attack and make for some really cool plays. But the next ability here is Riptide. So he sends waves mounting outward that deal damage and also slow by 50%, decaying over 1.5 seconds. Enemies hit by subsequent waves take 50% damage. Deals 150 damage against monsters. So keep that in mind. So we use it here. Boom, you guys can see it there. Keep in mind that it's slow, so you know, if you're ever in a situation where like you're getting caught out, slow, boom, get away. If you're ever engaging on top of somebody, boom, channel it, channel the slow as you're going in, That way when you land there, boom, the waves just come out, maximizing the amount of CC you put out. But yeah, you know, if you're in a tough situation, slow, boom, get away. Then after that, the last and final ability is depth charge. So Nautilus fires a depth charge towards an enemy champion, dealing damage, knocking them up, and stunning them for 2 seconds. Other enemies hit by the path charge are also knocked up and stunned and take damage. So let me show you guys here something. So if I throw this on this dummy, boom, knocks the dummy up and anyone next to the dummy. But if I come over here and throw it on top of that dummy all the way in the back, boom, everybody along the path also gets knocked up. So it's pretty OP, not gonna lie. And so, you know, with the ultimate, things get very interesting because you can like throw the ultimate on top of the carry, stun him up, and then also hit anybody that is in front of you in a choke point, knock them all up, and help, you know, set up a big play, maybe help set up other ultimates. So things can get pretty insane. Right, so in terms of what ability to max out first, this is probably where I'm gonna create a little bit of controversy, and that's because it honestly could depend, but the safe route honestly would be just maxing things out in order. So hook first, then your Titan's Wrath, and so on. But here's where I say it depends. So once you get up into the higher skill tiers, if you're gonna invade, you're gonna want to start hook first. If you're gonna be aggressive in lane level 1, you're gonna want to start hook first. If you know you're gonna play passive, if you know they're gonna poke you out, you might want to start shield first. And not only that, let's say you have a very squishy jungle that wants a leash, you can tank it for that jungler and help him clear with the damage here that the shielding provides. Let's say they have a lot of burst and a lot of poke. You might want to max out your B first to get that extra sustain. Let's say you're up against champs that are extremely mobile or champs that are hard dive. You could max out your third ability and get an extra 20% slow to help you deal with those very mobile champs. Let's say you want to maximize your CC as much as possible. You max your hook, then put a point on your third ability, and then try your best to max out the ultimate. This is going to increase the stun duration, helping you to CC down whoever you're trying to focus. Now, in terms of your power spike, of course, your level 1 is a power spike, especially if you get hooked. You know, the playmaking potential is there, definitely. But one of your biggest power spikes by far is your level 2 power spike. You can flash in, hook, slow. For those of you guys who play Thresh, you very much know what I mean. Early on, you can be aggressive, get some hooks in, get someone's flash down. And once you hit that level 2, you can just go in, walk up to them, basic attack, root them, slow, hook. Okay, let's not go under tower, hook. And, you know, get yourself a kill. The other power spike is, of course, unlocking your ultimate. That is by far one of the biggest power spikes. You know, you instantly just walk up to someone, ult them, then you can hook, slow, and it's pretty much GG from there. Now, in terms of laning, remember what I told you about the hitbox. You can throw your hook literally around minions. If you do it right, it will go around minions. Likewise, try your best to always have control of the brushes here. Force out vision, make them throw vision in these bushes, make them waste their vision, and not only that, force them to really rethink how they're playing. But anyway, with that being said, since we've already gotten a little bit into it, let's get into the combos, and I'll give you some tips and tricks as well. So first things first, I already mentioned this a little bit, but abuse the hitbox. Abuse the hitbox on his hook as much as possible. So let me show you guys something here. So first things first, you gotta know the end of the hook hitbox is a lot bigger than you think. So that's where the end is, but if I'm here, look at that, it still lands. So keep in mind the end of the hitbox is literally right outside of the edge right there. You guys see that? It's pretty insane. And like I showed you earlier, the hitbox, you don't even have to land it on top of them, like right in the middle. It can be a little bit off to the side and it'll still land. And this is also true for when enemies are over a wall. You can like literally go around a wall here if you do this. And if I show you guys on this side, let me throw vision down here. I can throw it like right here, and boom, it literally goes around the wall almost, and it lands onto the dummy. And you can do that with literally so many of these walls. Like, let me see if I can throw an enemy dummy here. Let me pull him this way a little bit. A little more. Okay, so if I have that dummy there, I'm pretty sure I can land it if I throw it here. Oh, close. It's close. There we go. Landed it. And so abuse that hitbox, abuse the range on it, abuse like the fact that you don't have to throw it directly on top of them. And do know the hitbox is a little bit different for terrain. So if I throw it here, this would land on a dummy, but it doesn't land on a wall. So usually you want to be a little more centered when throwing it on top of terrain to make sure it actually lands, or you know, it might get a little awkward seeing you trying to get away and miss a hook. You can also combo the hook with literally any ability. Like, there's a million different combinations you can use here. I'm just gonna show you a few. Like, if I went into literally every single one, it would be a very long video. So let me just show you briefly here. So first things first, you can use abilities during the travel time of the hook. So the one I showed you earlier was the third ability into the hook, right? Let me show you now. You can be during the hook and already have the shield up by the second you get into the enemy's face. Boom. This also goes for the ultimate. You can hook ulti during, so you can CC 2 people at once. You could even go for 3 people at once, you know. Look at that. So OP, so OP. So that can help you like single out an enemy, or if you're like trying to get away from a bad situation, slow get away, or if you're engaging, boom, channel it as you're going in, and by the time you get in there, the waves are already going out. But here's one thing you got to keep in mind. Make sure not to stack your CC. Do not stack your CC. Get the most out of your CC by properly timing everything together. So here's a combo you can do. So you can hook, ult, don't basic attack, boom, basic attack after the stun and knockup are over. That way you can maximize the amount of CC you have. Another thing you can just do is literally walk up to an enemy, basic attack, knock up with ult, hook, boom, root it again. And that allows you to maximize your CCM as much as possible. And look, you can flash hook here. Let me just show you here in lane really quick. Boom. You got to do it fast though, because if you don't do it fast, what happens is your hook will come from your hook will come from where you channeled it, which means it won't go further than you want it to. So if you have a hard time doing the flash hook combo really fast, what I recommend doing is flash first then hook. You know, don't like complicate yourself. Another thing you can do also is just flash slow. If you're trying to get on top of a carry but they're far, you can flash ult, then hook in, then basic attack. But here's one thing you got to keep in mind. The basic combo in the early game would be hook, basic attack, right? But the thing is, there's a little break where the enemy team can flash, because the basic attack animation is a bit slow. So if you truly want to CC someone down, sometimes you might want to flash first, root, then pull, or else after you hook, they're gonna have that split second to just flash out during the basic attack animation. But yeah, those are just some of the basic things you can do. I won't get too far into it. I'm actually planning a different video where I'll go over things a lot of you might not know you can do with Nautilus, so stick around for that. Pretty excited to make that video. Now, Nautilus has a few counters just like any champ, but if you know what you're doing, honestly nothing's gonna counter you. If you one trick this dude, nothing's gonna counter you. But just know, be aware, Janna can be fairly good against Nautilus. Also Morgana is good against any CC champ, so of course Morgana's gonna be good against Nautilus. Also Alistar is very good. You know, he can push you away, he can knock you up, screwing up your combo. He can also push you away and, you know, really screw up with your combo. And honestly, any like hard poke can also, you know, make you struggle, so do be aware of that. But with that being said, let's get into the builds in Ruins. So here is the build in Ruins I got for you guys. I got two builds for you guys. So this is the one and this is the second one. This is like a little bit like a Thresh build. But the first one is very much brought to you by the Chinese players in the current esports tournament. They've been using this and honestly it works really well with Nautilus because you got ability haste, you also got health. So I think it's gonna work very well on Nautilus. So let me show you guys here. So of course, first item, you go Jar, you get that health, you get that ability haste, you also get movement speed, which is awesome. And on top of that, you can help your teammates stay alive in the early by, you know, getting a second honey fruit, also helping with vision or another blast cone and that sort of stuff. So pretty OP. After that, Mercury Stone Play is, I think, very good. If you want to get a little bit spicy, you could probably go with Proto Belt, and if you want to get extremely defensive, Locket is always good. After that, you got Warmogs, 700 health, 200 health regen, 10 ability haste. So in total, you're getting so much health from just these two items. And then the Stone Plating increases your health by 65% while reducing damage though by 60% for 4 seconds. So pretty tanky once you go in. After that, you can do Randuin's Omen, or if they have like a whole bunch of attack speed, you can go Frozen Heart. If they have maybe a lot of, you know, sustain, like freaking Mundo or something like that, you know, you could also go Thornmail there. Then you got the Abyssal Mask, so 300 max health, 40 magic resistance, 300 max mana, and also ability haste. Really insane. But if they do have a whole bunch of like hard AoE, then you can also go Force of Nature. And then last but not least, I got Seeks in there. Some of you guys might want to build Seeks first, that's fine too, but I got it in there at the end. And you know, if you go for this build, you can also throw Thornmail there at the end, even Iceborne Gauntlet if you want to get a slow in. So you can get very creative with it for sure. You can also go Dead Man's Play, maybe get Dead Man's Play as your third item. There's a lot of things you can do there for sure with this. And then for Ruins, of course, we're going for that Aftershock. You're an all-in tank. You want to get in that Aftershock. There's no doubt about it. After that, Weakness, then Hunter Titan is good, but there's a few other ones you can pick here, like Conditioning or Stone Plating if they have like a whole bunch of bursts. But even then, like, you're already super tanky, so maybe you might not need that, but the options are there. But I think by far Hunter Titan is a lot better. And then after that, Hunter Genius, I think it's good. You get ability haste. You also can go like Pathfinder if you want the mobility. But yeah, I have it at Hunter Genius there. And then for the spells, Ignite is good. If you play Thresh with Ignite, this might not be too bad for you. You might already be used to it. It's gonna be similar. But you know, if maybe you're up against a lot of melee, a lot of people that have mobility, you might want to take the Exhaust. Or if you know your carry is complaining, you know you're gonna get crapped on in lane, go for the heal, get that extra sustain in. But yeah, the other build I have for you guys here is very Threshy, if that makes sense. This is pretty much what I would build on Thresh. You know, you get the mobility from the Dead Man's Play, and of course you get both magic resistance and armor right away from these two. And Portal Belt, you know, to get excited, to make the epic plays is there. But I don't know, I feel like you already have a gap closer with the hook, honestly, so might be overdoing it. But you know, people still get it on like Orkan and Alistar, and you know, it works well. So but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. I'm honestly so glad that Nautilus and Pike are finally here. I feel like it's been forever since these guys announced it, and it just felt like they were never coming out, honestly. So let me know what you guys think, and other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.